Welcome to today's webinar, Attract, Retrain, and Develop Talent, Transform HCM with Broadpin's ready-to-use HCM solutions, driven by Oracle technology. Hi, I'm Tim Denijs, your host for today, joined by Martijn de Bie from Oracle as co-host and complemented by Nino Mulder from Oracle and Ansgar Haas from Broadpin, our HCM experts. In today's session, we'll address various topics, starting with a brief introduction about Broadpin, who we are, where we came from, and why we're interested to inform you about the latest and greatest of human capital management. We'll then deep dive into Oracle HCM, where Nino Mulder will take you through key aspects of Oracle HCM's available technology and functionality. This will be followed up by Ansgar Haas, who will give you insights on our ready-to-use HCM solution, explaining the framework, its flexibility, and moreover, the quality that it delivers. This will be topped off with a customer case study related to a mid-sized packaging company, and then we will have a Q&A session and discuss possible next steps. By the way, feel free to raise any of your questions via the questions button during the webinar, and we'll be sure to address them at the end. About Broadpin. For those of you who don't know us yet, or that might know us by a different name, Broadpin is a global Oracle consulting company that has been established based upon unifying 5 companies under a single brand. These companies have come together to expand its Oracle portfolio, deepen industry expertise, to build a unified organization with global reach. Broadpin is now able to drive digital transformation through strategy, implementations, and managed services, focused on delivering Oracle solutions that matter and that make a difference. Now, what does that actually mean? With over 500 employees worldwide and currently servicing over 650 customers across 30 different countries, we've accelerated and expanded our capabilities to help empower companies through tailored Oracle solutions, spanning from Oracle on-prem applications to Oracle infrastructure, technology solutions, industry-specific solutions, to SaaS applications such as HCM, providing infinite possibilities for our customers. As a true Oracle partner, we have made it our mission to guide transformation, help businesses drive long-term success while mirroring the speed of innovation available in today's market. We have the ability to take our experience with various customers across various industries, mapping it with the market trends to resolve common challenges that allows us to develop ready-to-use solutions that one can actually benefit from. Our partnership with Oracle is a key element of our mission and vision. And for this, I'd like to hand over to Martijn de Bie.
And thank you, Tim, and good morning, or sorry, good afternoon, everyone, actually, and welcome. So great to see so many of you joining this session today. My name is Martijn de Bie, and I'm one of the sales leaders within Oracle and responsible for the Fusion application side of the business in the Netherlands. Secondly, I would like to highlight Tim and the broader Broadpin team and thank them basically for opening this session and setting this up. I truly value the partnership that we're currently having. At Oracle, we're here to support your full HCM transformation journey. So from getting started to continuously evolving your HR capabilities. And it's more about systems. It's about better employee experience. It's about smarter decision-making and much more. And although Fusion HCM is often perhaps perceived as a solution for large enterprises, it's just as powerful for smaller organizations. And with the Broadpin's ready-to-use program, you as customer or potential customer will be supported to accelerate the move to Fusion applications like HCM by delivering a proven pre-configured solution that reduces implementation times, it reduces the risks, and gets value much faster without starting everything from scratch. So I'm looking forward to dive into this together with Nino and Ansgar, of course. So guys, can you take this over and take the audience into the world of Oracle Fusion HCM?
Absolutely. So thank you all. My name is Nino, HCM specialist within Oracle for the last 7 years, background in the payroll. And thank you for the opportunity also at Broadpin to showcase a little bit of our solution, especially with the quick developments in the market. Before we do that, I will start with a little bit of brief context regarding the solution and architecture and what makes this unique, and then spend as much time as possible in the actual demo environment. Perfect. So a little bit of brief context. First of all, I think it's really important to stress that we are the only vendor in the market that is running our applications, including HCM, on one single platform and data model, and one underlying Oracle stack, which means hardware, databases, middleware, if you like, and everything in between. It's all Oracle technology, which means no dependency on third parties when it comes down to security and performance. Then, of course, you see a lot of things happening in the market, especially around AI, which is kind of being hyped. We believe AI is coming with a lot of potential, but also with some challenges. So idea for today is to really give you a taste of how AI practically translates into the solution. Main use cases we see is on the one hand, reducing the administrative burden for all users. So whether it's the employee, the manager, or the HR department themselves. But also we see AI becoming increasingly instrumental in providing the best possible user experience. What about the caution part? So similar to the left part of the slide, you will see that Oracle AI capabilities are embedded within every layer within the application. So not just the application itself, but the entire infrastructure. So infrastructure, data platform, application. It's all native Oracle technology embedded within Oracle, not bolted on, which means that it's following the role-based access setting within Oracle. And my colleague Ansgar will elaborate a little bit later on role-based access, but that's the idea. So no exchange of data with third parties, no usage of customer data to train our AI models, and deployment of our AI capabilities in your isolated own tenant as a customer. Okay, then today we will mainly focus on talent management, internal mobility, and recruitment, both the external and the internal experience. Our suite is much broader than just that, but now we will focus there. We cover the full hire to retire cycle and everything in between, which includes onboarding, offboarding, skills management, succession, talent, you name it, and even payroll for quite some countries. What is important to stress, we are showcasing a mobile-first application, so you can access it easily through your browser or app. And yeah, we built this completely from scratch 15 years ago already. Perfect. Then last slide, and then let's just jump straight in the demo. So for now, we took Gartner. You can take any independent analyst you might prefer, whether it's Forrester, IDC, or any other one. But to stress you where we stand today being Oracle, but also the trend of the last years and where we are actually heading. So on the left hand, you see the Gartner Magic Quadrant of approximately 10 years ago, where you see Oracle being positioned as a leader, but a little bit on the bottom left. And on the right hand, you see where we are positioned today, leading the quadrant in the upper right corner. And we are proud of where we stand today, but we are even more proud regarding the progress we made through the last 10 years. And when you compare these quadrants, you will see that Oracle is the only vendor that managed to move up to the upper right corner every single year. And that's something we're hugely proud of, but where we are even more proud of is that innovation is 80% driven by our customers and your input through a vibrant Customer Connect community. Well, seeing is believing, so I'll stop sharing my slides and I start sharing my screen to actually showcase you a live environment. Hope you be inspired and actually like it. Perfect. So you'll see my screen and we will start with a recruitment experience of a live customer, which is Hearst, to showcase you how modern technology makes it as easy as possible and really lowers the threshold for every applicant to apply. Because there's the main challenge, right? Minimizing the amount of dropouts and the percentage. So when I want to apply, I simply move to careers. And again, you can, of course, fully brand it in your own colors, preferences, logos, etc. And from here, I can search for vacancies, like you expect of a recruitment portal. And what I wanted you to showcase is to actually demonstrate the live LinkedIn capabilities, integration capabilities we have to lower the manual workload for the applicants. So this is a vacancy, as you might expect it to be, maybe a little bit long, but of course can be tailored. And from here you can simply apply. So when I click on the apply button, for your information, I will not submit because I don't want to pollute customer data. I'm only going to showcase you the live LinkedIn integration. This is GDPR. You're probably aware of that. And then from here, I can start the application process. And this is where a lot of people already drop out if they see all the fields they have to fill in or complete. And that's exactly where the LinkedIn integration comes in. We have the same for Indeed, as you can see. So from here, I sign in LinkedIn to validate that I agree with sharing my data. And when I click on the Allow button, it's importing all relevant information and context in the vacancy forms and fields. Of course, limited to the information available on LinkedIn. So just to give you a little bit of a taste, you see my last name, my front name, my title, of course, phone numbers, country of residence. These are more qualification questions. This is a US example. You might have a more limited or modest setup for European or Dutch headquartered companies. And then this is where the beauty lies. So your entire resume is being parsed, including your different employers, length of employment, and education, etc. So that's what you see over here. I can click on it, and instead of adding anything from scratch, I can simply complement, add, or change. And yeah, that's it. That's how easy it is to apply these days. So just to give you a little bit of an impression, live customer environment, live application by leveraging our out-of-the-box LinkedIn integration. Well, from there, let me take you to our demo environment, because that's the other challenge, right? How are you going to get applicants to the point they're actually interested in a vacancy? And how can you make their life easier? So the other way to facilitate that is through CV parsing. So what we have is when I upload the resume of Sarah Evans, which is our demo persona in this example, an applicant, you'll see, and Sarah is having the profile of a marketing specialist, marketeer, that she is presented with job opportunities or relevant vacancies that are a one-on-one match with her resume. So instead of her having to search for a decent vacancy or a matching vacancy, she's being presented with these vacancies simply by uploading her resume. So just a little bit of a taste regarding the external recruitment experience and how modern technology contributes to reducing the manual burden and workload, and really increases the application rate and finalization of applications. That's the first stage of recruitment. I will finalize today's session with a taste of the internal mobility and internal recruitment process, but will now take you to the portal and the solution itself. Again, if you have any questions, feel free to drop them in the chat, and we'll answer some of them live at the end of this session, or follow up accordingly. So over here, you see our Oracle portal or landing page. And yeah, let me walk you through how it's set up. So we have a ask button, and this is search functionality that's intelligent and AI enabled. So from here, I can simply search for certain wording, and I do get also suggestions regarding potential relevant functionality or functionality I'm looking at. And it applies to every kind of transaction you would like to manage, whether it's absence related, you name it. And of course, when you click on it, you navigate straight into a certain workflow or process and work through it. Well, for now, we have to focus on talent. So this is more to demonstrate how to navigate through the solution. I'll give some more concrete examples in a few minutes. Then on the right hand, you see what we call is quick actions. And these are basically the most frequently used actions or transactions that are user specific. So whether you are an employee, a manager, or HR, a recruiter or a talent manager, the most relevant actions will be there. So for a talent manager, that will be more talent development related. For a recruitment manager, that would be more recruitment related. And then from here, you can easily navigate through certain functionality. On the right end, we see the tasks and notifications. We work, of course, also with email and SMS notifications. And by simply clicking on it, you enter straight into the required transaction or process. I'll take you to grow in a bit. So I will now move to the Activity Center. And of course, like we just showcased, you can also just search for Activity Center and navigate through the search bar. The Activity Center basically is the cockpit for every user. We have an Activity Center for the employee, the manager, HR, and even the recruiter or payroll expert. And over here, you see a summary of the main KPIs relevant for the employee. In this case, for a manager, it would be similar. For a manager, you get the idea. Then over here, we have the same quick actions as you saw in the starting menu, but you can also tailor based on your own preferences by actually pinning them to these pins. You will see they will actually be altered. And then when I scroll a little bit downwards, you also see a pretty neat overview of the interactions or communication between the employee and the organization, whether it's salary related, vacation related, or talent related. So pretty neat overview. If you would like to have a more concise overview, simply switch to this overview. And then I have the exact dates and timelines. Okay, then let's move to talent, as that's what's the focus of this main session. We just touched upon AI. One important disclaimer, we don't force you to use any kind of AI. You decide if you want to use it, when you want to use it, and how you want to use it, with the design principle of human in the loop. So we are not taking over human work or practices, always human in the loop and always the full control with your organization. So whether you're working with a traditional performance cycle or a more continuous feedback process, or maybe even a hybrid approach, I'm going to touch base on both. So over here we see the performance and development goals of Eric Legrand, the employee I'm logged in. And when I would like to add a goal, we have, as you see, generative AI capabilities available. So let me take cross-functional collaboration. Yeah, then we see a lot of employees are struggling to make their goals actually smart, or they might have the blank page syndrome, struggling to find a starting point to generate goals or descriptions. So this is really where AI comes in and can help you. So when I click on the generate button, you will see the solution is guiding me and coming up with a first draft. That's the way to approach it, no final version to work on. And you can, of course, delete stuff, add stuff, or change it completely to actually help you in defining your goals, but also making them more smart. So one of the use cases of AI, and one of the most widely deployed ones actually at this moment in time. Please take into consideration, so all information within the solution is taken into consideration in coming up with these suggestions, including mid-time check-ins, temporary assessments, and all other kind of stuff that might be relevant. So just a little bit of a taste regarding how AI helps you in the light of performance management. Then in the upper right, you see touch points. And I will just, over here, I'm being asked regarding my sentiment today, which is part of our touchpoints model. But I'm going to limit my point now for the scheduling of continuous check-ins. So when I click on the upper right, schedule check-in, here as an employee or as a manager, I can schedule a check-in, pick a date, pick a frequency or a recurrence, and from here actually create. And I think what really differentiates us from other solutions is that when you look at all these strategic HCM domains, whether it's recruitment, talent, succession, skills, performance, it's all part of the same solution and platform. And how does that then actually translate into the solution? by having all information available within all those different processes and domains. So from here, I can simply add relevant goals, relevant feedback, which might be a 360-degree feedback from colleague, skills, competences, etc. And from there, simply schedule my check-ins with my manager. So just a little bit of a taste regarding the performance management process and how Oracle supports you with our tooling from this perspective. Perfect. Okay, then let's move on to grow, because like I just mentioned, the main challenge is most of the time to really motivate employees to consider their own development. And what we built with Grow is that instead of the employee having to think about where to head towards or where to get their information from, the information is being pushed to the end user. We differentiate between accelerating in current roles and growing your career in a different role. And what you'll see in this Grow overview, you basically see everything coming together. So within Grow, depending on growing your career or accelerating in your current role, you're being pushed with recommendations regarding potential careers of interest. You're getting recommendations for skills, recommendations for favorite jobs, careers of interest, etc. So, and even being pushed with relevant gigs, which are temporary projects to develop, or vacancies that might actually be applicable for a completely new role or ambition within the organization. So Ansgar will provide a little bit of more context regarding the packages and the implementation packages. Of course, we highly recommend you to start with the foundation and gradually build on that, with most likely some performance management and talent management first, recruitment. But then at some point, this would be the dot on the horizon or the art of the possible to work towards. Okay, how does that translate then? Then we'll finalize with this last two topics. So I'll give you a little bit of a taste of learning, and then I jump in internal mobility. And then, of course, if you are interested, we're more than happy to showcase more or touch upon more details in additional sessions. So I will move to learning now to give you a little bit of a taste of the embedded learning capabilities. This is our learning catalog. We provide a full-blown LMS solution, part of the suite. So no integrations or Oracle technology, part of the Oracle platform, that allows you to manage your learning catalog, manage your budgets, manage learning communities, but also take care of mandatory learnings, planning of learnings, classroom learnings, you name it. So everything is covered in the solution. And what you see over here is basically an overview of the featured courses. So instead of the employee having to think about relevant learning content, this is being pushed and personalized on the individual's preferences from a career perspective, but can also be assigned by their manager or learning expert. And then when you hover over the courses, you get additional information. You can click on it, subscribe for certain sessions, and then have a potential approval flow beneath, depending on how you want to structure and organize the administrative process for your learning activities. Of course, we have filters available in which you can filter on the kind or the type of learning, the topics, the format, the content, etc. And of course, we also allow to work with non-catalog learning, learning communities, etc. The beauty of learning, and that applies to all talent modules, is that they are all working with the same underlying skills taxonomy. So skills taxonomy for learning, for talent, for performance, it's all the exact same, and again, embedded in the same solution and platform. Perfect. Then I take you back to careers of interest, and then we are done from my end with this hopefully inspiring first overview. When I move to careers of interest on the left part of my growth screen, I will click on it. I'll end up in the opportunity marketplace. And the opportunity marketplace is basically an overview of all potential relevant vacancies within the organization that might suit me or my colleagues. And then always the challenge is, of course, for an employee, They might doubt to what extent they are a good candidate or have the right capabilities to fill in a vacancy. They might also be willing towards a less logical step or make a step sidewards toward a completely different career. And that's why we have the mobility coach available. So in this example, I'm illustrating our mobility agents. We have agents, and this is AI, of course, embedded within every layer in the application across all kinds of functional domains. So whether it's an absence agent, a recruitment agent, a benefits agent, and in this case, a mobility agent, really a dedicated AI support, maximizing the best possible user experience. So from here, I'm Eric. I'm logged in as Eric, as you recall, as a employee. And if I want to look at recommended career roles or even job openings, I start having a discussion with the agent. And then based on my personal profile preferences, I'm being provided with suggestions regarding strong matches of relevant roles, but also more aspirational opportunities that might take a little bit more investment and time to get there, right? And when you're looking at maintaining your employees, it's absolutely key to also give them this potential and the probability and also the opportunity to further develop. So when I take the one of people and operations manager, I'm taken straight into the people and operations manager career path. I'm being provided with an overview of the skills required, a role description, potential degrees and certifications and stuff. And we'll deep dive on skills in another demo. So, and then when I go back to the mobility coach, I'm being provided an overview regarding how my profile matches this career role. A fit assessment, the core strengths, leadership capabilities, strategic thinking, human relationships, but also potential gaps or points for improvement I should work on to become a real strong fit with this vacancy that's out there. So it's providing an overview regarding the time that we'll need or require to get to the point I'm actually a fully qualified candidate, 3 to 6 months. And also coming up with some additional information and context. Well, we'll take a step in time because what you would normally do is you would save this and develop a career guide. And then next to your own role and responsibilities as a employee, start working on development, right? So working through the training content we showcased just a bit ago, working on the development of certain skills or competencies and having discussions on those in your performance cycle. And then gradually you will grow towards a more suited or more mature profile, matching the actual vacancy. And then in the meantime, you can check in with the same mobility agent to ask where do I stand and how good is my my fit today or not. So let me now we take a step in time and I go back to the agent. And here I ask the agent to show me the development within this specific guide. And it's actually giving me an update or heads up regarding how far I progressed. So I've completed 80% of the development guide. I'm already quite a strong match. I closed the following skill gaps. And it's actually pushing vacancies that are out there today, right now, which I might consider to apply on. So when I click on them, again, I get, of course, an overview of the role. But then when I feel like applying, I can either apply to the mobility coach or on the right upper button you saw in a second ago. So when I click on apply, so without me having to navigate through the vacancy, having to find the right screen and stuff, I'm guided directly to the right screen for the application for this specific role. And again, and this is also part for the external applicant experience, but I'll finalize with this one. We have generative AI available to support you with this process. So remember, I'm an employee. The solution has quite a bit of information on me when it comes down to my existing role, potentially skills, competences, ambitions, certificates, learning completed. So based on all that information available, when I click on generate, the solution is providing me with input regarding a quick motivation letter or summary of the candidate. Same principle applies. You can delete it, you can complement it, or not use it at all, but most of all use it as a first foundation. So just to give you a little bit of a taste, and then obviously submit. There's much more functionality out there in the solution. There's much more AI out there to support you within the solution, but this is just to give you a first taste of how Oracle will really help you to get your HR organization to a more strategic level, but also in minimizing the administrative burden. So hope you liked it. Back at the end of the session for answering some additional questions. And then I hand over to my colleague Ansgar for some additional context regarding the implementation and the solution. Thank you.
Perfect. Thanks, Nino. Thanks for the inspiring session and the introduction of the Oracle HCM Cloud. What I want now to do is give a short practical information about Oracle HCM, and then come to the main part that I'm looking in, which is the ready-to-use package. In general, the HCM Cloud has a growing customer landscape here in the EU region. We have big clients like DHL, like with 400,000 employees with Deutsche Bahn. We have clients with, let's say, multiple applications like Unia with CX, ERP, and HCM Cloud. And we also have, let's say, mid-sized companies. One example is Podinger here in Germany with around about 600 employees. So we have a broad, let's say, landscape of customers here in the EU, and which is growing. There is always the point with security questions that we receive. Two main aspects about Oracle HCM. The first one is everything, let's say, on top of the hardware is coming from Oracle. So you have one partner if it comes to the cloud, to the software. Everything is, let's say, hosted in the EU. That means there is EU law behind it, and which gives you a special security of your personal data, which is obviously very important. When you have the data and it is secured, you want to get something out of the data. And the good thing about Oracle is, as it's a data-driven company as well, you have multiple options to get the data out. What I like is those infolets, small, let's say, KPI reports within the system, which gives you key KPIs, and then you can drill in, which is perfect if you need to get a good view on a daily basis. There are the HR dashboards, which is like, let's say, pivot table. So you can select different, business units, legal entities, whatever, and drill down and get the most out of your data. And if you have specific requests, there are possibilities to really, at the end with SQL, get on your data. And the good thing is what Nino said, there is one single point of truth. So all the data that you have in the system, and you can report on them and you can link it. So it's a very powerful tool to not only, let's say, manage your data, but also to get a good view what is behind the data. Nino also mentioned the role-based, let's say, solution that Oracle provides, which is, I think, also important to understand. Every employee has roles. So an employee role, a line manager role, HR role, this is all covered. Those roles, they distinguish which functions you can use and which data you can access. And as Oracle is built for the cloud, this is very, let's say, implemented on a very secure way. So it's every time also with AI made sure that you can only see and get out the data that you are allowed to see, which is, if you're talking about personal information, very important. And that's, let's say, also what I wanted to say with AI. We always get the question, okay, how secure is it? So from our perspective, it is secured. You have those role-based functionality is included in the AI function, so you cannot get the salary of your line manager if you're not, even with AI services, if you don't have the role to see it. It's GDPR, it's, let's say, based in the EU. Data is not used for training. So also there, the data protection is guaranteed. There is a logging. You see who has triggered which agent, let's say which data is used, etc. And as Nino said, human in the loop in those services. And now to the also very important topic for this session, which is the ready-to-use packages. So what is the ready-to-use? What we saw, let's say with the experience we have rolling out Oracle HCM, you tend to have bigger projects where we go through all your requirements. And those projects get, let's say, bigger and bigger. And we wanted to create what we call products, so fixed scope packages for the key functionalities that Oracle is providing, and make those packages faster in the rollout, plannable and more scalable. And I will explain now what that means. We have a standardized go live between 12 and 15 weeks, depending also on your possibilities. It's a fixed price, fixed scope. We can start, let's say, early, and we can deliver the project in a fast manner. And also AI is included, obviously. And one important point is that the capacity that you need to bring into the project is much reduced compared to standard projects. So when we talk about ready to use, what is included? We have included standard business processes that we as Broadpin have, let's say, created. There are predefined processes and approval rules, like a standard set, and they are defined, they are clearly described, so you know what you will get. We have predefined and localized value sets like titles, business types, genders, etc. And also localizations are included. And we have a delivery model or methodology to roll these packages out. So we have a clear defined scope. So part of the Oracle HCM Cloud is covered in that scope. It's a very good starting point for your journey into the Oracle HCM Cloud with a fixed price, and by that, a good starting point. What is included, for example, in HR, it's obviously the onboarding, the transfer, the hire, the promotion, termination, job and position management. There are AI capabilities included based on standard AI agents. We have the predefined user interface, predefined data model, means localizations, flex fields that are included, predefined workflows, predefined roles, predefined approval flows. And by that, as we have a predefined set of function and value sets, that's let's say the reason why we can be fast, and we say, depending on your let's say possible contribution, it's between 12 and 15 weeks for a core rollout. And we have, beside the core, we have packages, products, ready-to-use products for recruiting, for learning, goal and performance management. And by that, let's say the key, or one of the key elements of the Oracle HCM Cloud. So for core, everything about employment data, so look at the job management, position management, and it's global and integrated. The recruiting, everything about job postings, talent pools, hiring process, etc. Learning, also as Nino has showed unified and personalized learning solution, a really powerful learning solution. And the goal and performance management, everything about setting goals for your employees, making half-time and let's say yearly evaluations and check-ins. So also here a good, let's say, product in that area. Let's say we have many more details about those packages, what is included. I'm happy to go through that with you. We have also, let's say, a clear description about what is included. So as I said, personal data, contract information, employment information, emergency contacts, everything about global transfers, resignation, terminations, position management, etc. Everything is included in the core rollout. We have for the recruiting, as I said, for the job requisitions, the hiring process, supported by AI, and also the duplicate check during the process. So the main features of recruiting are included. The same for the learning. So central learning catalog, the setup of the learning catalog. We have the included various learning formats that are supported, cancellation reminders. Yeah, so the standard packages, and the same as I said for goal and performance management. And what I also mentioned is, and which is something that Broadpin is bringing into the project, is what we called the best practice process models. And we have them, let's say, localized in different languages. In this case, it's the German language. We have it also in English and other languages. And those are the standard best practice process models that we have, and which can be used within the project to have a look into the current processes and also the to-be processes, and also to document those processes and make your documentation of then your processes. So this is a very powerful tool to support the project. So I want a little bit also more to elaborate on why we are so fast with a rollout of a, let's say, core HR system. In a normal project, you have a big, let's say, a design phase where we discuss with you all the approval rules, all the value sets, the format of your address, how, let's say, literacy approval rules, etc. So everything needs to be designed. Then we will set it up. We have 1-2 test phases, a user acceptance test, and then a go live, which is obviously a time that you need, which is about for core 9 months to 12 months to deliver such a core module. What we do with the dedicated delivery model that we have, that as we know what we deliver, we know how the approval flows look like, we know the value sets that's defined in our product. We need to have a much reduced requirement phase. So we need from your side your organization structure as an example. So we take that, then we configure, and then we have the acceptance test based on the specification that we have, and then we go live. And that is one of the key elements where we can be faster. That means our effort is reduced, which has a cost impact. And also your contribution to the project is much reduced compared to a standard delivery, as you don't have all those workshops, etc., and contribution. Obviously, it's not just some bullets on a slide. We have really a clear definition of the delivery model. You see on the small one, that's those, let's say, standard for bigger projects for, let's say, that we have. And as you can see, it's from a complexity much reduced delivery model for those kind of projects. Obviously, what you also see there, and this is the big opportunity from our perspective with this approach, that you start with something which is working, which is proven to be working, but you can extend it. Also, our expectation is not that you take it and that's the end of your journey. There are, as Nino has shown, many other functionalities that Oracle is providing. And the big advantage is that you get a tool with the Oracle HCM Cloud that is proven to work also with 400,000 employees, with the complexity that you can expect for such big clients. So this HCM Cloud can, from a technical perspective, grow with you. So if you have, let's say, more employees, 1,000, 2,000, 10,000 employees, from a technical perspective, this cloud can grow with you from a technical perspective, but also from a functional perspective. If you have no new modules, if you need to extend, there is always the possibility that Oracle HCM can grow with that. And in our delivery model, we included that there will be some smaller adjustments that we need to do. We can do that. We're happy to do that. And also after the project, the Oracle solution can further grow. That means that's let's say the big benefit of the ready to use. The implementation time is much reduced compared to the standard project rollouts. The design effort, so the effort that you need to bring into that project, is much reduced because we know what we will deliver. And obviously also cost saving is much included. It's much reduced. So you have an application, which is the leading application that is currently available and has been proven during the last years that is one of the leading applications, which can grow with you from a technical and functional perspective, and is a very good starting point for your journey within Oracle HCM. And so I just would like to introduce one of the sample clients that we have, which was also on the slide previously. And what we did here, this client has around about 600 employees. It's in packaging industry. And the key challenges that they had was they had fragmented HR data across business units. So they had several tools where they had the employee information, and they need to, let's say, if during the hiring, they had to, let's say, transfer the data manually between applications. That caused errors, that caused inefficiencies that we can all imagine. Let's say new employees were a little bit, let's say, frustrated, right? Because the processes were so long and many questions. So the solution was that we introduced the ready to use for core HR as a starting point. So to have one single point of truth for the HR data, to have a, let's say, also a secured place for the HR data, for the sensible information. We also had, let's say, adjustments, minor adjustments to the core HR during the project. And 1 year later, we then introduced the performance and goal management, because that was one strategic point for the client. And the client is now thinking about learning as a next step. As learning is a perfect, how to say, extension of the performance and goal management, because then you can already say, you know, with the goal settings with the employees, what kind of trainings to increase the competencies that the employee should take. So what we did, we looked at the processes, we documented the processes based on the best practice processes that we had. And we identified these critical challenges and topics that we had to make sure that the new HR system really supports this rollout. We then set up the Oracle HCM system. You now see a much cleaner UI than what Nino showed, which can show you how much you can adapt the user interface. I like the more cleaner style, but that's a personal, let's say, objection. So we set up the core HR, and then also did the extensions of it. So let's say we introduced an AI agent, we then performance and goal management, and as I said, we will now look into learning management. So by that, I'm done. I'm looking at the time, perfectly in time. And
Perfect.
yeah.
Perfect, Ansgar. Thank you very much. I think a lot of valuable content, which is great, starting from from earlier on in the session, and nice to see how it intertwines from the information that was provided by Nino in his demonstration, and the story that was built on, and then coming into the ready-to-use solution where we can do fast implementations based upon fixed scope and fixed price, but make sure to keep the alignment on the design in the front end. So also nice to see how two experts do have a little bit of a different view on whether a more simplified overview or more elaborate overview shows the flexibility and the capabilities of the solution. So that brings us to the Q&A part of today's webinar, and it's nice. We managed to get a couple of questions in, so we'll address them one by one. If we don't manage to address all the questions, don't worry. We can always follow up with you later and answer those questions after the session. So starting with the first question. What happens if we need functionality or extensions that are not part of the ready-to-use HCM solution? I think this is a nice question for you, Ansgar, to answer. Would you like to pick up on that?
I answered it, let's say, or started to answer it also during the session. There's we don't expect that we everything that we have within the ready-to-use packages will 100% fit your requirements. There's always some adaptations, and we think it's a very good starting point, and we address the main ones. But the flexibility that Oracle HCM provides, given the fact that you also 500 to 400,000 employees with their complexity, we have introduced with our methodology extensions during the project. So if you have additional, let's say, approval rules or let's say flex fields or whatever, that can be the delivery method includes that. And I think most important, you can also afterwards, you can functionally grow with your application. It's always possible to add time and labor or absence management or all such modules from Oracle HCM. So this extension possibilities is there, and also you should be enabled that there are things that you can also extend on your side. Journeys is a very good topic. So there are many things that also you can do, which we can enable you. So yes, extensions are possible.
Yeah, I understand what you said, but I think it's important to recognize that it's also about aligning that expectation while we're aligning the requirements. Of course, the ready-to-use can map a certain percentage of your requirements. The question is, how much do you want to bring in into the project at the front end then rather than after the project? Looking through the questions, I think that makes it interesting to raise the following question as well that came in is, what is the major differentiation between a full project and a ready-to-use HCM solution? Again, I think, Ansgar, this question is for you.
Yeah, the full project, we will look into all the processes and all the topics that we configure. And that's the benefit is that we can introduce requirements that you have, let's say, in the project. That's the benefit. But it makes it from a time perspective and also from an effort perspective much more, let's say, more effort. So that's, I think, the key aspect, ready to use, fixed scope, best practice process models. Standard project is we look into, let's say, all the configurations, align it with you, and by that it's more effort. But then let's say also, more aligned with your requirements, let's say.
I think one thing I want to add there is also how fast you want to get a return of investment based upon the subscription and the project that you're delivering. Of course, speed isn't everything, but make sure that at least think big, but start small and just get the things moving is a nice way forward. So definitely agree. Thanks for that, Ansgar. Another question. I think this is an interesting one as well because we talked about AI. What are the main gains or value drivers of using embedded Oracle AI capabilities instead of Microsoft Copilot? Interesting. I think, Nino, would you be interested in answering?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, that's a very interesting question, actually, and dynamics we encounter quite often. So to start with, when using Oracle data within third-party AI technology, you lose some of the richness and the context that is actually available within Oracle. Secondly, I think it's important to take into consideration that within Oracle, like we discussed, role-based access applies to every layer within the application, including the data access through AI or being presented by AI. And third, from a commercial perspective, and we did not elaborate on this at all, I think it's important to stress that all out-of-the-box best practice AI capabilities come at no additional cost.
Yeah.
So that means recruitment AI capabilities are part of your recruitment licenses core, same principle. We do not deploy any consumption-based AI metrics for that best practice functionality. So also commercially, it's way more attractive to work with the best practice and the standard capabilities.
Yeah, makes sense. Makes sense, definitely. And I think you mentioned one important topic is the roles-based security. Huh? That is what is an important aspect. Being able to access or utilize AI functionality is nice, but you also want to make sure that you're compliant from a security perspective and ensure the right information is provided to the right people in that sense.
You don't want to ask salary questions in Copilot, right?
Exactly. All right, looking through, there are quite some coming through as well. I see, oh, this is an interesting one. Can I connect my current payroll system to the ready-to-use HCM or Oracle HCM suite? Nino, do you feel comfortable in answering that question?
Yeah, sure. Yeah. So of course, we believe in the value of a suite and deploying as much functionality and utilizing the suite synergy. We have payroll for some countries, being Oracle, but also for some not, in which we facilitate integrations. We provide an open platform with standard integration mechanisms through SOAP and REST APIs and other kind of techniques. And we have quite some out-of-the-box integrations with big global vendors, also like ADP. And the same principle applies to non-payroll solutions like point solutions for talent.
Okay, then you already answered one of the other questions I see coming in as well. Can we work
really?
with
Okay.
can we work with temporary integrations to third-party point solutions? So the answer there, I guess, is yes. Maybe
Yes,
it's
temporary, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and also fixed, of course. But yeah, we see that happen a lot during the transition of these kind of projects to stay within some domains with the existing vendor and focus on the foundation, and then gradually phase in, phase out the old and the new technology. Yeah.
Then another question is, what is the average project duration for implementing Broadpin's ready-to-use HCM? I think, Ansgar, this is a nice one for you to answer.
Yeah, I think that's one of the slides. We have, let's say, for core between 12 and 15 weeks. For the learning, if you already have core, it's a little bit less because the complexity is reduced. But that's the time frame. Let's say 12 weeks is the normal delivery time.
Yeah, and then it also depends on which set of process areas that you take, indeed. Conscious of the time, there are more questions, but I think that brings us to the next steps. Of course, what can we consider as next steps for the audience is, of course, we'd love to be able to set up a follow-up meeting to demonstrate other process areas in more detail, similar to how Nino showed it. So we'll definitely look forward to reaching out to you and following up on that. Another next step approach could be to really align on your actual requirements and challenges and develop a business case covering your current HCM needs so that we can actually look to scope our ready-to-use solution with your needs and see where that can go. And based upon the time, I can also say we'd love to set up a follow-up session to answer any additional questions that we didn't manage to answer in this session. Having said that, a recording of today's webinar will be provided to you in order for you to revisit any of the content that was provided. And well, that's it for today. I want to thank you, and we would like to thank you for your participation and your attention. We trust and we hope that this information was according to your expectations, and we look forward to connecting with you to discuss the next steps and help guide you with your human capital management needs. Have a great day, and for now, goodbye.